Hello and welcome to True Audiophiles, where I am going to discuss my record haul from my business trip to Seattle. It was a pretty interesting visit in terms of collecting music. Something that I traditionally don't do is I typically only buy records. But this one was a rare exception where I actually bought some CDs, and I'll go into it a little bit later when I show you those, and you'll have a good understanding as to why I did that. But I found some great stuff. I can't say that there were any stores that really were phenomenal in terms of getting a bunch of stuff I really wanted. But there was some stuff here and there but there were definitely a couple of stores where I may not have gotten much, but I got, a grail, or maybe not a grail, but something I've been looking for anyway. The interesting thing that I found, which most of the stores that I went to, they had a lot of jazz, but very little in the sense of the major artists, like the John Coltrane, Miles Davis, Sonny Rollins, Charles Mingus, Lee Morgan, those kinds of artists, and, ones on those levels. The Coltranes and the Davises of the first tier, and, like the Lee Morgan and some of the others like that at what I would classify as a second tier, even though they're, very great musicians and I love their music. They just don't typically sell as much as the Coltranes or the Davises, obviously. But anyway, all the stores I went to, for the most part, with some rare exceptions, had virtually no used of the first and second tier artists in jazz. So it was kind of interesting, and I don't know, I'm guessing, and don't know anything more than that, I can only make guesses, is that it is because of the popularity of jazz, especially recently, where, people are picking up the jazz artists that they've heard of and trying to get that stuff. So, and in turn, I'm sure the used prices are going up on those as well. I haven't really been able to get a whole lot of that stuff recently, so I don't know, and I haven't really been out a lot looking at stuff. But anyway, I went to Easy Street, which I got this bag from. I went to Fat Cat, Neptune Music, Al's Music, which they're more used entertainment, so they've got video games and that kind of stuff, but they had a decent amount of stuff. And then I went to Sonic Boom as well. Sonic Boom is probably one of the better stores of the ones I went to for new stuff, but didn't really have a ton of used stuff, so I actually didn't end up buying anything there, which was sad because I wanted to give them my business, but just wasn't much there that I wanted in new stuff, and they had hardly any used stuff. So anyway, so here's my haul that I'm going to go over. I don't have a ton of them, so it won't take me too long. So first up is Coltrane Jazz. Now this one is an ORG pressing, which is basically a 45 RPM cut by Bernie Grunman and Chris Bellman. And excited about that one. I was a little bit apprehensive to buy it because I thought that I had it already, but I came home and looked, and luckily I didn't have it. So next step up is another one that is a audiophile reissue for jazz, and it's a Speaker's Corner Mingus at Antibes, or I'm gonna completely botch it, I'm sure, but it's great. It also has Eric Dolphy on, I think, saxophone, although he plays all kinds of different instruments, so I don't know what he's actually playing on this, but a 2-record set, and I'm excited to hear. I think this one was done by Kevin Gray, because I looked at the dead wax on that one, so that should be very cool. This one, I can't say that I have been looking high and low for it, but I missed out on an opportunity a few years ago to pick it up, and I sort of was kicking myself for it. But luckily, I found one, and that is AC/DC High Voltage, and this is actually an Australian pressing. I think, they claimed on the tag that they have on here that it was actually a second pressing, which is fine. And the thing is in really good shape. I'm very excited to get it. I love the Australian versions of AC/DC's albums. For those of you who are not in the know, AC/DC's from Australia, and all the Australian releases have completely different covers than what you've seen here in the U.S. And the U.K. has some different ones too, which are really weird. But anyway, so I'm not sure if that completes my collection of their older AC/DC albums from Australia, but I've got, I think now 4, maybe 5 of the early Australian pressings of AC/DC's albums. So that's that one I was very excited about. This one I was very excited to find at a reasonable price, given the fact that unfortunately she just passed away. But this is Betty Davis, Nasty Gal, which is a reissue from, I think, last year, from Light in the Attic, I believe. And it's on pink vinyl, and it has some extra bonus gatefold and some other things inside of it I'm looking forward to checking out. So that one was kind of cool. Then, next up, Foreigner Double Vision, which is awesome. Actually, one of my first records I ever got as a kid. But this is a Japanese pressing, pretty early Japanese pressing that I got of it. Another one from my earlier childhood. Never owned it as a child, but I ended up getting it later in life. But Loverboy, Get Lucky. Again, another Japanese pressing of that one. This one was a little bit later in my well, not quite childhood, probably teenage years, I guess. So, but excited about this one is Madonna, and this one is the one that's got Lucky Star and Borderline and things like that. But again, another Japanese pressing, which was awesome. A lot of these next ones are ones that I'm interested in, but I don't know much about. I know some of the artists that are on them, the jazz titles here, but this is First Light by Freddy Hubbard, which also has Jack DeJohnette, I believe is his name, and Ron Carter, and George Benson on guitar. And this one was actually cut by Van Gelder, which was cool, Rudy Van Gelder. Another one that I believe was cut by Rudy Van Gelder, and was part of the reason why I bought it, and also part of the reason why I bought it also is because I have, I think, either a classic vinyl reissue series or Blue Note Tone Poet albums of his, but this is Jimmy Smith, Monster, which it looks like it's more, it has a lot of orchestration in it, so I'm a little bit hesitant about that, but it's got the theme from the Munsters, Goldfinger Parts 1 and 2, theme from Bewitched, so I thought it was kind of interesting, and it was only $10, and again, I believe it was cut by Rudy Van Gelder, so that could be a fun one to check out. The last of the regular-sized records that I got, and again, didn't know much about this particular one, but it had a couple of people on it that I had heard of, and so I was kind of curious about it, and it was pretty affordable, and that is the Charles Lloyd Quartet, Journey Within. So got that one for like $10 as well. The next one is an interesting one. I am embarrassed to say, but not embarrassed to say, that I bought one of those Record Store Day turntables, you know, those little ones that play the 3-inch records. However, I bought it because it was $20, so it was not very expensive, and then I was able to get some of the 3-inch records for really, really cheap around the same time, because my local store was basically trying to blow out the inventory they had of them. So, and then I think it was last year, it was either last year or the year before, I think it was last year, Record Store Day, Anthrax put out a 3-inch turntable, the ones that plays the 3-inch records, I should say, with an Anthrax logo on it. And then they also released 4 3-inch singles. I had originally thought that they had bundled them together, but I think the situation is they're separate. So, my local store never got the records in. They actually got the turntables in probably like 6 months later, but never have gotten the records in. But and I've kind of been on the lookout for them. I didn't want to go onto Discogs and get them, but you know, if I ran across them in a store, I would get them. It's kind of funny because I was actually getting ready to check out of Easy Street Records, and I just, as a long shot, because I know they had a bunch of Record Store Day stuff, and I didn't see any 3-inch singles, I just kind of asked them if they happened to have it, and lo and behold, they did, and they were on sale. So I'll kind of show this part just because that's not the right way up, but I got them on sale for 20 bucks. They normally listed them for 25, but it's basically 4 little 3-inch singles of Anthrax songs. So there's basically Discharge, I Am the Law, Madhouse, and Time. So pretty excited to get those at a sale price and not have to pay. I think a lot of the people on Discogs were asking like, 40 bucks or 50 bucks plus shipping for them. And I couldn't see myself spending that much money on them. So that's all the records. But what I did also come across were some CD box sets that I've actually been looking for a while. And I have been looking for them because they're not available on record. And I'm not sure if they ever will be. But some parts of them are. But I've been kind of collecting these box sets for a while. And it's basically some Miles Davis box sets, and they're the ones that are in these types of boxes. This one is the Cellar Door Sessions, which Live Evil came off of, and I think a couple of other records. But they basically are in a kind of a cool slipcase. So there's this one here, one that I'm really looking forward to because I haven't heard any of it yet. Well, except for the stuff that's been released on record. But the Complete in a Silent Way box set. Again, slipcase, which is very cool. And this one, interesting story about this one is, I'll just show it. It's the Bitches Brew Complete, Bitches Brew. What I like about this one and the earlier box sets is that it actually had a metal spine, which was very cool. And when I was a little down on my luck, if you will, and didn't have a whole lot of money, I sold this. And I was kind of kicking myself for doing that. I ended up buying the long box version of it, but I really wanted that one again. And the interesting thing about that one is that one's actually the one I paid the least amount of money for, because some of the discs weren't in perfect shape, but they weren't bad. But more importantly, the box was kind of beat up, which I was not liking very much. But basically, they had a price tag of 20 bucks on it, and I was about to say no, I'll pass, or I did say that, and the person knocked it down to 15 bucks for me, so I couldn't say no to that one. So, but that is my record haul / CD haul from Seattle. And like to know what your thoughts are on those. I think I made out pretty well. I don't think I overpaid for much of anything, maybe one or two things. Most of the stuff was actually pretty good value, and I think I did it right, but more importantly, had a great time doing the search. I met several great people that worked at the stores, and it was a great experience. In Seattle in general, it's my first time I've ever been, so it was very exciting and to be able to go there and check it out. And that is everything I've got. So, I'd love to hear your comments below on anything that I had here. If you had any questions on anything also, I'd love to hear those comments. If you liked what you saw here, please hit that like button. If you liked what you see here, please subscribe to my channel so you can check out all my other videos, and hit that alert bell so you'll know when my new videos come out. Also have some social media pages that I try to keep up on. Unfortunately, work has been super busy the past few weeks or so it's been kind of tough to do that for me. But I do have a Facebook group called True Audiophiles, and I would love it if you join that. And if you want to join in a discussion and maybe post some of your stuff on there, and we can have some conversations about whatever it is you want to post on there, whether it be records, CDs, or just about audio in general. That would be awesome. But like I said, it's a True Audiophiles Facebook group. It's going to be in the comments section or the description below. I'll have a link to that group if you want to join that. So that is everything I've got for today. You have yourself a great day.